Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 origin continent based on novel. So let's start. As for my godly body, I have no way to progress any further at the moment, Luo Feng thought. Moving forward, on one hand, I need to cultivate the Lai Yuan technique and strive to make a breakthrough in willpower as soon as possible. On the other hand, it's time to deepen my understanding of the laws, starting with comprehending a few primal chaos realm techniques. Understanding the primal chaos laws is not something that can be achieved overnight. It requires continuous accumulation, first by comprehending some primal chaos realm techniques, and then through a lengthy period of accumulation, until one day, there is a moment of enlightenment, and the complete law of primal chaos is understood. The path of cultivation, through bloodline progression, allows one to reach the primal chaos realm, with the help of bloodline transformation, Luo Feng contemplated. But for me, the only way forward is comprehending the primal chaos laws. I have already perfected the cultivation of the 3 secret techniques, primal chaos great strength diagram, world-breaking 9 blades, and 9 netherworlds at the level of an eternal true god. Donghua and Duanmie at the eternal true god level still have some parts one haven't fully grasped, and there's even more room for progress with the Lai Yuan technique. With a single thought, Luo Feng continued to maintain the Great Destruction Heart refining technique to further hone his will. This seemingly painful process had long since become something his spiritual will could handle. Sigh. While maintaining the honing of his will, Luo Feng's godly body returned to normal, and he then exited the Star Tower. Boom, boom, boom tilde tilde tilde. As the underground palace doors opened, Morosa and Moyu Qingyang, who were inside the cave mansion, immediately came to greet him, Master. Luo Feng's perfect divine body could perfectly conceal all aura. Neither Morosa nor Moyu Qingyang could perceive any change in Luo Feng. Qingyang, haven't you been at home accompanying your father? Luo Feng asked with a smile. As soon as you went into seclusion, he went back home, to accompany his father, to accompany his 2 brothers. But it wasn't long before he escaped back here, Morosa said with a laugh. Escaped back? Luo Feng was surprised. Moyu Qingyang could only explain, my eldest brother also got married recently. With both my eldest brother and 3rd brother married, they tried to play matchmaker, and many female cultivators took the initiative to visit. I was so overwhelmed that I had no choice but to flee back here. Many female cultivators took the initiative to visit. Luo Feng laughed. How many is many? Quite a few, actually. Even a few bold female cultivators came right up to the entrance of your cave mansion, Morosa chuckled. Later, Qingyang asked me to step in and scare those female cultivators away. I have no interest in matters of the heart. I only wish to understand the 10 fundamental laws as soon as possible, Moyu Qingyang declared. Luo Feng nodded and smiled, that's also true. Once you become a true god of void space, you will have endless life. There's indeed no need to rush things when it comes to matters of the heart. When you meet someone you truly like, your heart will tell you. Moyu Qingyang listened, but it was evident that he was firmly resolute and unwilling to get involved in matters of love. Luo Feng then inquired, has anything significant happened in Huyang City while I was in seclusion? Shang Qianyang didn't run into any trouble, did he? His days have been carefree, of course no one would go after him, Morosa replied. But there has been quite a shake-up within Huyang City, with the city owner's mansion and Sha Kingdom's forces clashing several times, many died or were injured. Luo Feng nodded. The biggest commotion involved Gaou Shui. That leader Gaou Shui actually turned against his own family, Morosa said with a smile. What happened to him? Luo Feng was curious. Gaou Shui was Mo Li Xiao's favorite protege, and had once attempted to capture Mei Wuqi. Luo Feng had a rather good impression of leader Gaou Shui. Gaou Shui, originally just an ordinary member of the Gaou family, had long been marginalized. He later joined the Huyang Legion on his own as a common soldier, and attracted the attention of Commander Mo Li Xiao, who thoroughly supported his growth, enabling his rapid ascent to eternal true godhood, Morosa explained. Not long ago, the Gaou family's clan leader Gaou Wei hosted a banquet for Gaou Shui, but Gaou Shui turned on them during the meal, calling in the Huyang guards to seize the Gaou family's clan leader and other core members, including his own father. To seize his own family's upper echelons and publicly declare that Gaou Wei had sided with Shi Kingdom's forces, Morosa expressed with a sense of amazement. Treason. Gaou Shui clearly wanted these high-level members of the Gaou family to die. In fact, soon after the clan leader was captured, he was executed. Luo Feng nodded. Gaou Shui left his family at a young age, so his bond with them was very weak. Even so, Morosa added, the fact that he could carry out such harsh actions against his own family came as a shock to everyone in Huyang City. They suspect that Gaou Shui deliberately pinned the crime on them. You seem to know quite a lot, Luo Feng teased. I hear a lot when I'm out eating and drinking, Morosa replied. By the way, Deputy City Lord Moli paid a visit during your seclusion and asked that you contact him as soon as you emerged. Moli Meng. Luo Feng nodded and immediately sent a message to Moli Meng. It was just a short moment. Moli Xiao and Moli Meng arrived together, paying a personal visit to Luo Feng. Please, have a seat, Luo Feng said inside the mountain summit pavilion, sitting there while Moyu Qingyang helped pour the wine, and an array of exotic fruits was already set out. Lord Luo, he must already know that Shi Kingdom's forces have been stirring up trouble within Huyang City. Commander Moli Xiao began from his seat. Our city owner's mansion is also troubled by this, and today, as a representative of the city owner's mansion, I am here to request Lord Luo his assistance. You're asking for my help? Luo Feng shook his head. I have no grievances with Shi Kingdom's forces, so why would I get involved? Moli Xiao nodded, I understand. Most local families in Huyang City don't want to get involved for fear of reprisal from the Shi Kingdom. But Lord Luo you're merely with 2 servants and have no attachments, why fear the Shi Kingdom's forces? Since you are an eternal true god, the primal chaos overlord of Shi won't possibly bully the weak. Just facing some eternal true gods, Lord Luo surely you wouldn't care. Not fearing them doesn't mean I want to engage them in a battle to the death, Luo Feng refused. If we ask for Lord Luo his help, naturally, we come with sincerity, Moli Xiao said. Lord Luo you just need to garrison a location. The garrison will not exceed 1 era, and we are willing to offer 1 million cosmic sand. Garrisoning for 1 era. Luo Feng shook his head, that's too long. Saw the novelfire.net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. 1 million cosmic sand was something he could obtain himself, it wasn't very appealing. It's not necessarily for an entire era. If Shi Kingdom makes a move, just help us defend the crucial location, and the mercenary task will be deemed complete, Moli Xiao stated. Luo Feng replied, you should know that 1 million cosmic sand doesn't mean much to me. Yes, Brother Luo, he managed to pressure the 6 Lords Alliance and Cloud Treasure Tower into paying 1 million cosmic sand within a day, Commander Moli Xiao said. However, the resources our city owner's mansion can mobilize are limited. I need a portion of black marsh poison, Luo Feng said. If you're willing, I'll help. Otherwise, you had better find someone more capable. Black marsh poison. Commander Moli Xiao was surprised. Brother Luo he actually knows about the black marsh poison produced by Yu Kingdom. I've heard a little about it, Luo Feng said. The information provided by his master, mountain sitting guest, and the intelligence from the Duandong River lineage allowed Luo Feng to have an understanding of the vast majority of ancient existences within the land of origin. He also knew that some of Yu Kingdom's special products, among which black marsh poison, were very suitable for him. The black marsh poison contained terrifyingly potent venom, but if a very small amount was ingested, it could be used to hone the spiritual will. A portion of black marsh poison, as a product of Yu Kingdom, came at a relatively low cost since it was supplied to the offspring of major families on the land of origin. It rarely ended up in large cities. If Luo Feng wanted to pay extra to buy it, he'd generally have to pay several times the going rate to get it. I will discuss it with the city owner, Commander Moli Xiao said, his divine power incarnation, at the city owner's mansion having a discussion about the matter with his companions. It wasn't long. The black marsh poison is indeed a specialty of the Tsumeng royal family. The city owner promises that he can apply for a portion of black marsh poison, Commander Mo Li Xiao said. Good, Luo Feng nodded. Where do I need to garrison? Commander Mo Li Xiao showed a smile. With conditions met, this Lord Luo he could indeed be recruited. I'll take you there, Commander Mo Li Xiao nodded, and Mo Li Meng also smiled beside him. Within the city owner's mansion, the Lord of Huyang City, an elderly man with white hair, the divine power incarnation of Commander Mo Li Xiao, and a man with a single horn sat separately. This Luo he isn't afraid of our 5 great families, nor has he ever feared the forces of Shi Kingdom. Such a detached and powerful individual is easy to hire, the Lord of Huyang City said with a smile. But the fact that he knows about black marsh poison suggests he is quite knowledgeable. With such strength, naturally, he has had some extraordinary encounters, the elderly man said. With him joining, our defensive force in the 3 forbidden lands will be quite sufficient, with no weaknesses. No one saw how he killed Yin Kang, so his strength might not be as high as you all imagine, the single-horned man said indifferently. In my opinion, there's no need to involve this Luo he. The city owner's mansion might be somewhat inferior in strength, but it's more reliable. Commander Mo Li Xiao explained, we have studied Luo his temperament, and he is indeed trustworthy. Moreover, all 3 forbidden lands, not one can afford to be lost. Enough, the single-horned man said. After all, you 5 great families are responsible for Huyang City. Once this matter is resolved, I will return to the royal capital. Your efforts are appreciated, General Yong, the Lord of Huyang City, the elderly man, and Commander Mo Li Xiao all said politely. Among the ancient royals of Yu Kingdom, the single-horned man was in command of an army, much stronger than Commander Mo Li Xiao at the level of an eternal true god. Since even a godly king would have a hard time mobilizing a primal chaos overlord, when dispatching subordinates, it's generally someone like General Yong, a supremely strong eternal true god. If it weren't for having to deal with the forces of Shi Kingdom, I really would have liked to test Luo his strength, the single-horned man murmured before leaving with a laugh. Fortunately, General Yong understands that the task is of greatest importance, the Lord of Huyang City said, shaking his head with a sigh. Otherwise, before clashing with the forces of Shi Kingdom, if he started a fight with Lord Luo he, it would have been a joke. General Yong, valued by the godly king, naturally knows what matters most, the elderly man said with a smile. In a vital location within Huyang City, one of Huyang's 10 great legions, the Jin Xiao Legion, was garrisoned. A flying boat landed inside a building of the legion's camp, and 5 figures stepped out. It was Commander Mo Li Xiao, Mo Li Meng, Luo Feng, and 2 servants. The camp of the Jin Xiao Legion. Luo Feng was surprised. Is this where I need to garrison? Yes. Commander Mo Li Xiao said, this appears to be just a campsite, but it is actually one of Huyang City's forbidden lands. On the surface, it's guarded only by 1 legion, but in reality, 2 Huyang Guards teams are also hidden here. With your help, Brother Luo he, it is enough to secure this place. Luo Feng looked at the building in front of him and could sense that deep within the building, the atmosphere was much heavier. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. 3 figures hurried over, none other than the general of the Jin Xiao Legion and the 2 leaders of the Huyang Guard. Commander, General Jin Xiao and the 2 leaders of the Huyang Guard saluted respectfully. They also noticed Mo Li Meng, Luo Feng, and the 2 servants. From now on, Lord Luo he will also be stationed here, Commander Mo Li Xiao said. Carry on with the previous plan, Lord Luo he is free to move about in the camp. Yes, the 3 of them responded. Luo Feng observed them, his gaze lingering on one of the leaders of the Huyang Guard, who was precisely Gaou Shui. He and this Gaou Shui seemed to have quite a fate. Deliver what you've promised as soon as possible, or I will leave, Luo Feng urged. Don't worry, what's due to you will not be short, Commander Mo Li Xiao assured with a smile. The nearby General Jin Xiao and the 2 leaders of Huyang Guard inwardly marveled. The highest commander of the Huyang Legion was usually very stern, but now he was exceedingly polite, and friendly towards Lord Luo He. They all understood that even the combined strength of the Jin Xiao Legion, with the two Huyang Guard teams, was probably no match for a single Lord Luo He. Lord Luo He was indeed the most important defensive force of this place. Commander Mo Li Xiao instructed, "The news that Lord Luo He is garrisoning this place must be kept secret by you three." "Yes," General Jin Xiao and the two leaders of Huyang Guard respectfully replied. They had been positioned here because they were highly trusted. "Brother Luo He, I have also arranged a residence for you early in this military camp." Commander Mo Li Xiao led the way, leaving the building and going to a nearby elegant cave mansion. After all, a Huyang legion contained more than 20 million true gods, so the military camp was naturally vast. The ordinary soldiers only knew this place as a military camp, and were unaware of its true significance. Not bad, Luo Feng admired the cave mansion before him. To arrange such a mansion within a camp spanning hundreds of millions of kilometers was quite rare. The living conditions for the soldiers were much poorer, as they stayed inside the Legion mechanical secret treasure when on duty. "If there's anything you need, just command, Brother Luo He," Mo Li Xiao said. "But you must not leave the camp, as Sha Kingdom's forces could attack at any time." "Rest assured, I will keep my promise," Luo Feng nodded. "Then we will take our leave now," Mo Li Xiao said with a smile, then left with Mo Li Meng. Luo Feng looked at the cave mansion, only 10,000 kilometers in length and width. Though not large, it was quite exquisite. "From today, we three will live here." "Yes, Master," Morosa and Moyu Qingyang responded. 5 days later, Mo Li Meng brought the black marsh poison. "Lord Luo He, this black marsh poison is a deadly poison produced by a primal chaos-level exotic beast. If you intend to consume it yourself, you must be careful. Start with no more than 1 drop at a time." Mo Li Meng handed a flask of black marsh poison to Luo Feng, solemnly saying, "Consuming too much could very likely be fatal." Now that the city owner's mansion was employing Lord Luo He, it would be a joke if he poisoned himself to death using the black marsh poison. Rest assured, Luo Feng, having inherited 2 lineages, was very clear on the usage of the black marsh poison. According to his estimation, his perfect divine body's soul was already strong, and his spiritual will was far superior to that of a normal eternal true god. He feared that taking too little of the black marsh poison would barely affect him. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. From then on, Luo Feng secluded himself within the Jin Xiao Legion's camp. The Jin Xiao Legion and the 2 Huyang Guard troops continued their normal rotations. The ordinary members were entirely unaware of the site's significance. Only the army's general and deputy general, and the leaders and deputy leaders of the Huyang Guard knew the secrets. Sigh. Gaou Shui drove the flying boat back to his family's cave mansion, and rested there, naturally with a deputy leader on guard duty. Clan leader. Clan leader. Inside the Gaou family mansion, numerous family members saw Gaou Shui, and were extremely respectful. Gaou Shui, being the only eternal true god in the family currently and ruthless and brutal, had almost completely wiped out the previous senior members of the family. His deterrence within the family was evidently formidable. In the entire family, who wasn't afraid of him? Gaou Shui with a stern face went to a prison deep underground in the family domain, where the guards were extremely respectful. "Leave," Gaou Shui instructed. The guards withdrew. "Commander Gaou, you actually deigned to visit me." The man chained in the prison laughed loudly. "You killed the clan leader and many elders, so why not kill me too? Do you still have any regard for the so-called father-son relationship? Imprisoning you till now, and you still haven't figured it out. Truly disappointing," Gaou Shui said coldly. "What are you disappointed about? You want me, your father, to kneel and beg you." The man's expression was fierce. "Without the family, there is no you, you traitor to the family. You had 109 children," Gaou Shui said calmly, "and I, merely a descendant left behind after a passionate encounter between you and a maid. I never saw you once after I was born, and later I left the family alone to venture out, then joined the Huyang Legion. It was my master who took notice, and took me as his disciple. After my master accepted me as a disciple, you, my so-called father, saw me for the first time. That was our first meeting, Gaou Shui scoffed. Only then did you know about the suffering I had undergone in the family. Only then did you know about my mother, who had died silently within the family as a maid. Where were you when I was young? Where were you when my mother died? You dare talk about a father-son relationship? I am still your father. The man's expression was fierce. Without me, there would be no you. All my growth has been fostered painstakingly by my master. And what you contributed was merely a moment of passion, Gaou Shui said. When I became an eternal true god, the family indeed knew to please me. You became an eternal true god. The family treated you well, did they not? The man angrily said. The clan leader was quite respectful when meeting you, right? But what did you do? Respect me. Gaou Shui shook his head. At first, they put on an act, but at that banquet, he actually wanted me to be an inside man for Sha Kingdom. I never expected the clan leader, a mere eternal true god, to have colluded with Sha Kingdom. You are slandering, the man retorted. At this moment, I am not interested in slandering, Gaou Shui said. By wanting me to be an inside man, they didn't care whether I lived or died. Moreover, I would rather die than betray my master. Since they wanted me to be an inside man, and didn't care about my life, all those in the family who colluded with Sha Kingdom must die. Gaou Shui said. And you, Gaou Tsui, you survive because you were oblivious, and because you are my father, you have the privilege to cling to life. If you don't confess your errors willingly, then you can stay in this prison forever, Gaou Shui sneered. No matter which side the family allies with, you should not have betrayed the family, Gaou Tsui said. Betray the family? Gaou Shui sneered. Now, I am the clan leader, the sole eternal true god of our family. As long as I live, our family will continue to exist. If I die, the family will immediately crumble and be ravaged by various forces. You claim loyalty to the family, then you should be loyal to me. I am your father. Gaou Tsui couldn't bear his son's attitude. In this world, my mother gave birth to me, my master devoted his energy to raising me. And you, what are you worth? Gaou Shui turned and walked away. Sir, the novel, F.I.et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Within Huyang City, a hidden underground hall in an ordinary cave mansion. Shui Yun, Yu Qianshu, and Yu Qianyi gathered here. We have tried every means to gather information on the 3 forbidden areas, Shui Yun said, but the city owner's mansion has tightened information. Those guarding the forbidden areas are their core members and are very hard to buy. It's easy to buy over Gaou Wei from the Gaou family, but he did such a poor job that not only did he fail to persuade Gaou Shui, but he also lost his own life. Yu Qianshu shook his head. A waste dying is just that, he died, Yu Qianyi said. Divine Monarch Shui Yun, we've also collected information for so long, when do we act? We've prepared for so long, it's time to make a move, said Shui Yun. Yu Qianshu and Yu Qianyi's eyes lit up. How do we act? Yu Qianshu pressed. Our target is the 3 restricted areas, Shui Yun said. The city owner's mansion evidently has only one Mo Li Xiao, they may have hidden forces. But the 3 of us together are not afraid of the city owner's mansion at all. If we can infiltrate and destroy one forbidden area, the overall power of the Huyang City array will drastically decrease. There are many critical nodes in the Huyang City array. Damage to ordinary nodes has little impact on the array. But the 3 forbidden areas are the core. I will tell you the detailed plan of action on the day we move, Shui Yun said. Good, we will follow Brother Shui Yun. Both Yu Qianshu and Yu Qianyi were confident. Yu Qianshu, because of awakening a special bloodline, his godly body was considered the pinnacle of eternal true god within the bloodline cultivation pathway. Shui Yun, who had seen much and was knowledgeable, thought that Yu Qianshu's godly body was possibly comparable to unlimited godly bodies. Of course, unlimited godly bodies had great potential both in the primal chaos realm and at the godly king level, playing a significant role. But the bloodline cultivation pathway, once breaking through to primal chaos overlord, reached its limit and had much less potential. However, this did not hinder Yu Qianshu's extraordinary current strength. And Yu Qianyi, as one of the 5 gods of Yu Qian, was also on the same level as Commander Mo Li Xiao. 3 strong allies together naturally had great confidence. ****************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** Luo Feng held a flask of wine. Gulping. He drank a couple of sips and immediately felt the poison permeating his soul, making his spiritual will waver. Luo Feng was also practicing the Great Destruction heart refining technique, repeatedly trying to erode his own will. Duan Dong River lineage has a tradition of tailoring black marsh poison, making the effects of the black marsh poison even stronger, thought Luo Feng. Using black marsh poison as the base, adding some ingredients and blending it into fruit wine, he could concoct a uniquely flavored wine. It was even more effective for cultivating spiritual will. My soul is too strong, and my spiritual will even stronger. Relying purely on poison is too consuming, Luo Feng thought. Black marsh fruit wine combined with the Great Destruction heart refining technique gives the best results, and also saves on black marsh poison. Such cultivation, for normal cultivators, would be unbearably painful. But Luo Feng's will had been honed by numerous trials, especially the excruciating pain of accepting the Star Tower as his master, which was far beyond his current pain. After all, no normal refining method could reach the level of pain experienced during the Star Tower acceptance. Thus, to Luo Feng, this bit of pain was rather enjoyable, even a fun part of his cultivation. Master, are we going to stay here for an era? Mo Li Meng came over, somewhat reluctantly. As your servant, it doesn't matter much to me. Can I perhaps go out for a while? Previously often indulging in pleasures in the city, now staying long-term in the military camp, Mo Li Meng was getting a bit restless. Look at you, Luo Feng shook his head. You can't even muster this bit of patience. Your spiritual will is really quite average. I am just enjoying life timely. What does that have to do with spiritual will? Mo Li Meng retorted. I, the master, am staying here guarding, and you, the servant, want to go out and enjoy. Luo Feng looked at him. Don't you think you're being a bit unreasonable? Mo Li Meng looked down. Just wait, until Shi Kingdom's forces attack. Or until a full era passes, Luo Feng said. Suddenly, without warning, a dreadfully cold chill descended, in an instant covering the entire area of the Jin Xiao Legion's camp. During this night, the vast camp, spanning hundreds of millions of kilometers, was completely covered in frost. Has it come so soon? Luo Feng looked up, surprised. Finally, it's here. Mo Li Meng exclaimed with joy. This video will end here.